7 felony convictions for thefts or something like that, burglaries, thefts, and although you hadn't hurt anybody, we all know you get convicted of 7 times of burglary, there's a lot more burglaries that probably happened that you didn't get caught on. And so that's 7 families or businesses or whatever that have really been impacted. And then the other problem that I have is so far 9 different times you've been revoked on your parole or probation. And I'm just kind of curious, what makes you think now that you think it's 20 years is going to make a difference?
Okay, and you heard right. No violent offenses, no acts against children, but he does have a life sentence because he was billed as an habitual offender. But before we watch this 2025 parole hearing, we are going to do my favorite thing, which is take in a flash to the past to watch his 2023 parole hearing. And I personally like seeing how things progress, how we get back to where we are today, and what the outcome is. I find it to be fascinating. And as far as I know, we're the only channel on YouTube that keeps track of the parole process from start to finish. There is a playlist for that below. It's called the Return of Playlist if you want to see more hearings like that. Now with that, let's jump.
Mr. Thomas, excuse me, you're classified as a 7th felony offender. You're currently serving a life sentence. You were sentenced as a habitual offender in Caddo Parish in January 2006 for simple burglary at habited dwelling. You have a parole eligibility date, which was determined to be August 1st, 2021. Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Would you answer Ms. Wise's questions, please?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good
How's it
morning.
going? How's it going?
Fine.
Good. Tell us, how long you been in jail?
Best of my knowledge, 18 and a half years,
Okay, about 18 years, okay. And how old are you today?
53.
3. How much education do you have?
Right now I'm in literacy.
Good. How's it going?
It's going well. To count a little, count a little tough, but they tell me to try to do the best that I possibly can, and I'm not giving up. I'm staying in it, and try to learn more that I can learn.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. That's the key. Don't give up. I saw that you were counting in special ed classes when you were up in school. Did you ever get a check when you were coming up?
Ma'am?
Did you ever get an SSI check when you were coming up? Do you remember?
No, ma'am.
Not that you know of, huh? I do want to inform you that all law enforcement is opposed to your early release. There's nothing, but they are. I want to read something that was said about you, and I want you to think about it and tell me what you. It said it described you as a career criminal who has accumulated more than 9 felony convictions, 2 of which are crimes of violence. You've been granted parole 9 times and you were revoked 7 times. Your prior actions show a complete disregard for the safety and property of others. And he is highly likely to reoffend if granted parole, and that he does not desire rehabilitation. And you pose a continuing danger to the public. What do you say to that? You being described like that? Is that you today?
Ma'am?
Is that you today?
No, ma'am. I'm a changed man now. I'm not young anymore, and I made bad mistakes all my life, and I'm rehabilitating. I'm ready to prove that I can do better.
Good to hear. You've had any substance abuse treatment?
Yes, ma'am.
How you plan on staying clean and sober if you let go today?
Continue to do the same thing that I'm doing to him, stay away from around people that do it, and continue to encourage others not to do it.
Okay. What program did you take for substance abuse?
Our program?
Yeah, you remember what programs you had?
Like 100 hour substance abuse, anger management, victim awareness. And right now I'm in thinking for a change. I have like 2 weeks left on that.
Good, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. And probation parole was able to reach out to your family. Your sister said you could live with her. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, but my daughter want me to live with her
That's great. That's good.
in Shreveport.
In Shreveport, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
That's where you committed all these crimes in Shreveport?
No, ma'am. Vivian,
Oh.
Louisiana, and Houston.
Yeah.
When
They
I
kind
was,
of, yeah, they kind of right together though, but okay, you're right,
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
right. I do
Yes,
want to inform, probation parole was able to reach one of the victims and they were unopposed to your early release. And I just want you to know that.
yes, ma'am.
What do you do every day now besides your literacy class?
I work in the Vets Club at Camp F,
Okay,
and I attend religion service, and I also minister the word of God also to the population.
okay. You're an inmate minister.
Well,
Okay, no,
I say
okay.
God ministry.
Yeah. And when I look back at your history, like I've already stated, you have very poor supervision history. And how would you support yourself? How would you?
I have a job lined up dealing with roofing, and
Okay.
just get a job and just work and just, you know, support my kids and be a role model for my son, my 2 daughters, and also my grandson, and continue to go to serve church service and not run the street and just work, go to church, stay here, come back home.
Okay, good, good. And your last write-ups, I'm looking, you've had 18 write-ups in a little over 17 years. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Your last one was in 2015.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you expect your family to show up today? Why were they able to come to the hearing?
They said they were going to be watching on the stream. They did recommendation, my 3 children, and the classification at Camp Air Force been faxed up here to the classification up here somehow.
But in terms of substance treatment, you said the only thing you've had is you've only had one class. What kind of class did you have for substance abuse treatment? What have you had?
100 hours.
That's 100 hours of pre-release. Yeah, you said that. But did you have living in balance? You had living in balance?
Yes, ma'am. That's the one I pretty much left out. Living in bounds. I got it right here.
Okay. Oh, good. Oh, that's all I had, Jim.
Chairman, Mr. Richard. Mr. Thomas, good morning.
Good morning.
You are an habitual offender, been on supervision 9 times and revoked 7 times. Nothing you said this morning would convince me to place you on supervision again. Tell me why I should allow you your freedom and vision for the 10th time.
Well, I am changed, and
Tell me how.
I'm a changed man. I'm not the same man that I was when I burglarized all the crimes that I have done in life, and I'm very remorseful for what I have done, the role that I played in these crimes, and I'm very remorseful for them, and I'm changed, and I never want to be the same man that I was when I come in here, and I do everything in my power to learn more and do more and be able to be a helping hand for those who are in need. And if I've been here, the God help change me and give me another chance to, if I'm granted parole, I want to be able to prove to the law enforcement, also to this board today, to go back out and do the right thing. For my heart is changed and I'm broken, and I never want to get in trouble again and come back to this place again. I want to be a hard working man and work for what I want and not break in and steal and take from people. Now, I don't want to hurt nobody anymore. On the other hand,
Mr. Thomas, what's your sobriety plan? How do you plan to stay away from drugs and alcohol?
staying out of the street and be responsible for my actions, and also think positive things and not negative things, and just don't want to be around it no more. I learned to hate being on drugs because it played a part in me being incarcerated, and I don't have nothing to do with it no
When's the
more.
last time you used illegal drugs?
When the last time I was in the free world before when I caught the charge, I was on drug at the time, but when I got into Paris, I rededicated my life back to God, and because I didn't want to be the same no more. I'm 50.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Thomas, did you have a job before you came to prison?
I had roofing job. I had kind of failed it. I made bad decision and just quit working, and that would
So,
get in
right
trouble.
before you came to prison, you were not employed. Is that what you're saying?
Ma'am,
Right before you came to prison, you didn't have a job. You didn't quit your job.
I had quit.
Okay. Tell me about your affiliation with the Rolling 60s.
I had cousins and things was in it, but I used to run with them, but not doing nothing bad, with them or nothing like that. I was kind of young and just foolish and hanging out with people, that was, gang related. They labeled me as, a gang member, but I don't even hang out with none here, and I'm not planning on hanging out with none when I get out there.
So you were just running with them and drugging with them.
Ma'am?
You were just running with them and drugging with them, but nothing.
Yes, ma'am. Nothing. I never caught no charge with, none of them things that they do. And it's just something that we, being young and you just want to get in, being foolish and stupid, and crazy. And I don't have no intention, and being involved in it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, sir. Let me ask the warden, is there any comments that you can add to the conversation?
Yes, Mr. Thomas is a minimum A trustee, and he's assigned to line 30H, which is the B line, which is the residential line. Just letting y'all know that. His target is low, and everything else he did do substance abuse, living in balance, and anger management. He is currently enrolled in T4C. He's been in literacy for a while since he's been here, but he's been unable to pursue or attain his GED.
Thank you. Mr. Thomas, is there anything you'd like to say to us before we vote?
I just ask y'all to see me as a new man in Christ Jesus, and I pray that you will grant me this parole and that I can prove that I can be a better person as I am today. And I just, for my last time, say that I'm very remorseful for what I did. I had made wrong decisions, and now I'm on the right path now, and I'm ready to do the right thing. I refuse to go back being the same person.
All right, good. Thank you, sir. I think we are ready to vote, Mr. Thomas. Mrs. Wise will be voting first.
Mr. Thomas, let me tell you, I have you're a challenge to me. You really present a challenge to me this morning. But I am inclined to take a chance on. Can you see you?
They have it. Could y'all put the camera back on him?
We having trouble with the camera. They trying to I actually get off of me.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
I want it off of me too.
I'm glad you knew it was on you because you just looked. Mr. Thomas, I'm really having a good time. I'm a hard time, a difficult time trying to decide on you. But I'm inclined to take a chance on you. My vote is red after you complete Steve Hall. I do believe you need a long-term substance abuse treatment program to get some skills.
Right.
After that, your residence plan would have to be approved by probation and parole. You have your last write-up was in 2015. And Warren had positive things to say about you. And you just, and I believe that, I believe you have put it behind you. Best wishes to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr.
Mr. Thomas, you hadn't convinced me this morning. You have an extensive criminal history. The DA, the judge, saw fit to bring you as an habitual offender because you are a terror to society. You have been convicted of 7 or 8 felonies. You've been on supervision 9 times and revoked 7 times. I know you've been better. I want to see a longer period of time. You've only been incarcerated 17 years on a life sentence. I want you to take additional programs. I want you to participate in organizations, do some community service. And if I see a year or 2 of excellent performance as an offender, I might be willing to grant you, based on your extensive criminal history, a terrible supervision history, and express opposition by vote is to deny your request.
All right, Mr. Thomas, I am concerned too. You do have a lengthy criminal history. You acknowledge that. And you do have some violent offenses in your record. So that's concerning to me. And you were revoked at least 4 times that I could tell. I do believe you said your heart has changed, and I do believe it. But I do believe you need some additional some tools in your toolbox so that you can succeed when you get out. Your day's coming. It's just not today. I would recommend to the warden, you need some vocational skills training, some job skills training. I mean, I know you say you have the roofing experience, but you need a little bit more than that. I'd like to see you take victim awareness, particularly since you have some violent crimes in your history. My vote today is to deny, but with encouragement, take the programs, reapply once you've completed some programs, and maybe you'll have a different outcome the next time you see me. I hope so. Good luck to you.
Can I say,
Go ahead.
the program, that you said take, how about the same ones that I already took-in?
No, with you there. They understand what we're talking
I
about.
understand what you're talking about. I understand what you're talking about. I got you.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
She'll take care of it. Thank you, sir.
Right.
Okay, and 3 years have passed, and now he's been locked up a total of 20 years, and we are going back to another parole hearing. Let's see if he completed all the things that he's supposed to complete, and if it will make a difference. I got to tell you a few things. One is that Mr. Nasa says there's violent felonies in his record. I thought they said that there weren't. I think in the next parole hearing, they mentioned that there are not. I'm not clear on that, but we will go over the appeal at the end of the hearing. And his crime is kind of funny. He basically broke into a house. He didn't know people were there. It wasn't like a home invasion, my understanding, or he didn't have a weapon. He didn't. And the family walks downstairs and he's walking around the house wearing the guy's hat. And then they basically like chase him out of the house. But it was definitely an interesting event. That of course would have been traumatizing for anyone, but the idea that he got the guy's hat on, anyways. So yeah, let's go. Come to the present day and watch this parole hearing. But first, a word from our sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Aura. Did you know companies can take months to report a data breach? On average, it's 277 days before you even find out that your personal data has been exposed. Think about that, 277 days. That means that your sensitive information, like your email, your phone number, even your financial details, can already be out there. Now, it's not just one company, but major banks and corporations, they've all experienced breaches in the past year. Maybe you've seen about it in the news. Your information could be compromised right now and you wouldn't even know it. Now, that's why I use Aura. Aura scans the dark web and alerts me fast if personal information has been leaked. If someone tries to open a bank account or credit card in my name, I'll know right away. I have been using Aura for about maybe 9 months now. Something that they also do that really helps me a lot is keep spam callers away. That's a big bonus for me. They actually remove my name from those spam caller lists. Now, they also provide up to $5 million in identity theft insurance and a full suite of tools to keep you protected. And this is it's all done in one app. You can try Aura for free for 14 days at aura.com/Mandu. And that's 2 weeks to find out if your data has already been exposed before you hear from a company months later. So why wait? Get some peace of mind and try out Aura for free. Take control of your digital security right now. And now, let's go back to the hearing.
Is your name Ricky Thomas?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're at the right place then, and we're at headquarters Baton Rouge. We'll continue with the Committee on Parole. You are at Angola, and so could I get,
12:55:50.
okay? And I'll be doing the main questioning in just a few minutes to talk to you about, but I'd like to know, first off, why, before we hear the people that are gonna talk for you, why do you feel like that you're worthy and have earned the right to be paroled from your sentence?
I have the right mindset now, and by taking these programs, which one was thinking for a change, to help me to think right, help me to make better decisions. And I'm also a good hard worker, and I will be working to I work so I won't have to worry about breaking in or stealing anything from anyone. And I have also learned my lesson, and I don't want to go through this anymore. And I want to be there for my family and my children, my grandson that I care about. And I just want to work with the parole project to find me substance abuse treatment, and also A&A that I can attend weekly. And I also would like to say that I am sorry to this whole entire board, and especially to you and also your deputies, for having to put in long hours to consult the people who I had victimized over the past. And I'm just want you all to know that I'm not the same person anymore. I want to be responsible and be able to work where I want and take care of my responsibility, report to my parole officer on time, and stay out of trouble, stay around positive people, and get involved in anything positive with programs or whatever. I don't want this no more. I'm broken.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, sir. Appreciate that. We'll start with, let's see, Caitlin Newsflanger, if I'm saying that right. Ms. Newsflanger, did you want to save your remarks till last?
Yes, if I could, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, we'll talk to his other supporters, let them talk, and then we'll let you talk, and then we'll ask questions. How about that?
Great. Sounds great. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Kerry Myers, there you are, Kerry. Why don't you tell us what the parole project has in mind?
Yes, good morning. Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project. I'm here to tell the board that Mr. Thomas is a client of Parole Project. Should the board grant his parole today, Parole Project will provide him transitional housing. We're actually prepared to provide him long-term housing. And till he is, so we can make sure he is gainfully employed and prepared to be self-sufficient. While he's in our program, he'll go through the mentorship and the programs that all our clients participate in, and we'll establish him with the necessary services. Particularly, though, we'll focus on based on the fact that he's 54 years old, he's healthy. We'll focus on gainful employment. We believe Mr. Thomas can find gainful employment, and that through the mentorship and case management that we provide, he'll learn to be self-sufficient. So if this board would grant him parole today, we'd like to ensure the board, the Parole Project, will provide the services he needs until he gets to that point.
Okay, Mr. Myers, thank you for that. Thank you for the work that y'all do. Let's talk to Mick Kligger, if I'm saying that right, social worker for IPNO. Would you talk to us?
Hey there, yeah. How's it going? You got my name.
Good.
Thanks for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Mick Kliegler. I'm the supervisor of client services at Innocence Project New Orleans, also a licensed master social worker. I've spent several months working with Mr. Ricky Thomas. He has an intellectual disability, as the board may be able to see, that's been present since birth. He describes himself as a slow learner and struggles with reading and writing. He struggles with understanding abstract or multi-part questions, organizing his thoughts, and expressing himself. I just want to make sure that none of that is mistaken for a lack of commitment on his part to his own rehabilitation. I've coordinated with LPP to create a pretty comprehensive reentry plan that is tailored to Mr. Thomas's needs and emphasizes structure, routine, and in particular sobriety maintenance. So I know you have it before you. I'd like to briefly just go over the details with y'all. If the board sees fit to grant Mr. Thomas parole, my team will meet him at the gates of Angola and transport him directly to LPP, where he can reside long-term, as you heard Mr. Carey say. Within the first 72 hours, I will personally ensure that Mr. Thomas checks in with his parole officer and attends an AA or NA meeting. And then within a week of release, Mr. Thomas has actually been admitted to the intensive outpatient program at the Grove Recovery in Baton Rouge. So that's a pretty intensive program. They meet 3 days a week, 3 hours a day. The Grove staff would transport him to and from LPP housing to the program. And they also require that he attends 3 AA meetings weekly in addition to their programming. He already has an assigned supportive employment caseworker at Capital Area Human Services. So that person's job is to help him find and retain part-time employment that is consistent with his abilities. So in addition to that support from LPP, he already has work experience in roofing, groundskeeping, janitorial work. He already has obtained his driver's license. And so with that support, I believe, like Mr. Carey, that Mr. Thomas is actually quite employable. I'm also going to assist Mr. Thomas in applying for SSI benefits, for which he is eligible but has never received. And then finally, I'm going to assist Mr. Thomas in joining a Christian ministry in Baton Rouge, as his faith and his faith community, as you might hear from him, have been really key components of his rehabilitation while he has been in prison. So our organization is committed to providing Mr. Thomas the long-term support he needs to succeed in the free world. There's no time limit on our services. I have 6 years of experience in the reentry field and also experience working with adults with intellectual disabilities specifically. And my team at IPNO has thus far successfully supported every one of our clients that have come home on parole. Based on my experience with Mr. Thomas, I believe that he can adhere to this plan. He can maintain his sobriety and he can succeed on parole this time around. I respectfully ask that you consider granting him this opportunity. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for those comments. We'll take those into consideration. Now let's talk to Claricia Stromeyer, the daughter. Is she there, Miss Stromeyer?
Hi, I'm here.
Okay, you can stay seated there.
Hi, I'm Clarissa, his oldest daughter. I'm 25. I just would like to say that on his behalf, I asked the job, just give him a second chance, give him a chance just to prove to y'all that he's capable of working and being like a family man. You know, he has 3 kids, he has a grandson, I have a son. They've been bonding, they're over the phone, we came and visited. So I just asked the job, just give him a chance to prove that he can and that he is a changed man based off the phone calls and the visitation. I can see that he's not who he used to be when he was in his 20s. He's a hardworking man. He's a God-fearing man, and that we just want him to come home to be able to continue to be with his kids and his grandson and to help raise his grandson as well. So just give him a chance to prove to y'all that he can do what he's supposed to do.
Okay, thank you for those remarks. And one other person I'd like to hear from would be the facility down there, the warden. That's real important what the warden thinks.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Ricky's a minimum age trustee. He served 19 years. He's got 18 DV reports. His last one was in 2016. I think since his last role here, and he's taken some more classes. He's got victim awareness, substance abuse, anger management, completed the STR program, 100 hours, moral compass, thinking for a change. He's got his company certificate for his time that he worked over to vegetable processing plant. And I think he does have his driver's license now.
Okay.
He's got a good work ethic. He's not been any disciplinary problem to us at all.
Okay, thank you, warden. We appreciate your comments. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ricky, let me talk to you now. Okay, I've got I'll be the interviewer for your case, and I've read everything on here, and I've got some concerns, but I've also got some good things. You got a good support system, it seems, that they've worked hard to help you support. But let me ask you something. Have you ever had something stolen from you?
So yes, sir.
How'd that feel?
It made me feel like why I deserve it, caused me to fear to leave my locker open or locked, leaving thinking someone that gonna break in and steal what else that I had. It just made me feel bad.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to hear you say that, and you did mention the victims, and I think that's important because
Yes,
as
sir.
you know, as well as I do, you got 7, I think you're 7 felony convictions for thefts or something like that, burglaries, thefts, and although you hadn't hurt anybody, we all know you get convicted of 7 times of burglary. There's a lot more burglaries that probably happened that you didn't get caught on, and so that's 7 families or businesses or whatever that have really been impacted. And then the other problem that I have is so far 9 different times you've been revoked on your parole or probation. And I'm just kind of curious, what makes you think now that you think it's 20 years is gonna make a difference?
Yes, sir. I say that I'm someone now that will report on time to my parole officer, whoever he may be, and also pay my monthly fee and stay out of trouble and always around positive people. And I will see that be done.
Okay. All right, let me go over my notes here. Okay, I will start questioning now from my cohorts up here. Mr. Barrow?
Yeah,
earlier you said you was gonna be on a new road because you were, quote, broken. I like the way that word sounded, but I want to know what was it that broke you to make you change your ways, or what was it? Was it a class? Was it just a light bulb in your head? What's got you broken and made you change?
What got me broken were that I look back on all the bad things I have done and what I'm doing now, and caused me not to want to do wrong anymore or break the law no more. And I will learn, I know that acknowledge that rules are meant to be followed. And if granted parole, I will follow them. And I'm very, very remorseful for the things I have done since being here on the charges that I'm on, and I'm very remorseful for that. And I just hope to pray that I get a chance to get out and prove that I can be a better person, a good citizen, and responsible. And it broke me by being here on the life sentence. Not saying I don't deserve it for all the things that I have done, but I am a much better person now, and the broken just with that, I don't want to go through this anymore. And I just want to get out and take responsibility and work for what I want, that I might can have something to give to someone who are in need as well as I do here. And I won't allow myself getting around bad company, and I'm broken for all of that. I want to stay around only positive people and stay engaged in program at the Parole Project, and just work with the Innocent Project in New Orleans, also on my reentry. Surprise the plan that we had laid out together also. And I just want to get back to the community, whatever it takes, to even picking up trash on the side of the road, or mowing lawn, raking yards, or riding lawnmower, cutting grass. I just want to do all those good things. I see nothing but good in me, and I chose to do it. I always stay devoted to my faith.
Okay, that sounds like a pretty good answer. Thank you.
Yes.
Ms. Tilly?
He's answered the questions I wanted.
Okay, all right, I think that's all. Some of the parole eligibility worksheet, it talks about education or vocational achievement. I know you got a literacy program is one thing, an adult basic education program, job skills training program. And are you certified? Have you had a job skills training program?
Sir, he has a competency certificate in health production, work line. He worked on our vegetable processing plant. So he do have a certificate, a competency for that.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. I don't have any other questions then. Mr. Thomas, I'll be the first to vote. And
Excuse me, Mr. Prater? Is
did
it
I
all right
not
if
get, I
Yeah,
didn't get a chance to talk, did I?
No,
Okay,
that's all
better be careful what you say, because I'm ready to vote, and you might mess
Okay.
up.
Okay, all right then. Okay, all right, I'll be brief. Good morning, everybody. Caitlin Newswanger with the Innocence Project New Orleans on behalf of Mr. Thomas. And I just wanted to address a few things that this board has brought up, but I wanted to draw your attention to the way that Mr. Thomas has been described by people that know him in his life, which is very different from how he might have been described before he came to prison. Today, he's been described by Warden Knight, his supervisor, as somebody who's remarkable, somebody who continues to grow in a positive manner and is serious about being a better individual. And Mr. Chatelain in education, who says that he wishes everybody who is offered education services at LSP applied himself the way that Mr. Thomas has. And then Ms. Lori Stone has described Mr. Thomas as somebody having courage and perseverance. And as you already know, Mr. Thomas was before this board 2 years ago asking for parole. And while he was denied, he was encouraged to do programming, and he took that seriously. He heeded that advice and the recommendation. He completed Thinking for a Change, Victim Awareness, Tapuco, the mentor training class. And he also got heavily involved with 2 different ministries here at the main prison. He talks a lot about how he enjoys making community coffee for everybody on Sunday mornings with his ministry and delivers that to the dorm. And so just 2 issues that I know that I anticipated coming up and that we wanted to make sure we reiterated to you is, of course, Mr. Thomas is here as a habitual offender because he has prior convictions, as you know, Mr. Prater, from your parish. And I have to say that the person that sits here before you, this 54-year-old man, is worlds apart from the person who committed those crimes. He has immersed himself in the programming here. He has flourished in the programming. He has learned self-worth, decision-making skills, and empathy. Those are things that he didn't have when he committed those crimes. And the other thing I wanted to address was, of course, this revocation history and why we think that he'll be successful this time on supervision. For one thing, Mr. Thomas is somebody who knows how to follow rules now. He's a Class A trustee. He has not had a write-up since 2016, and that shows that he is trustworthy and he respects rules, and those are 2 traits that are imperative for somebody who is going to be successful on supervision, and those are traits that he didn't have before he came to prison. He also is set up to lead a stable and productive life. He doesn't have any connections to the streets anymore. He only surrounds himself, as you've heard, with positive people who are building bridges for him. And he's made a deliberate intention, if he's granted early release, not to return to Caddo Parish so he can go live in Baton Rouge long-term with the Parole Project. And you've heard that he is a broken person. And that's true, right? But he's also used this time in prison to sort of build himself back up from being broken. And I think you can see that from his record, that he has become, there's been a gradual transformation of a building up. Somebody that was described as a young adult as incapable or impaired is now described as somebody by his peers as a man devoted to his faith, or by his children as a present father, and by his supervisor as a hard worker. And so, like everybody else, we respectfully request that in light of Mr. Thomas's hard work, his Class A trustee status, his stable reentry plan, that you would grant his parole today. Thank you so much.
Okay, Ms. Newswanger, I have read all of your comments and had notes from your report in here. And so that's why I evidently thought I'd let you talk. But anyway, I apologize for not calling on you, and I appreciate your comments. Okay, now then, I think it's time to vote, and I'll be the first one to vote. And Mr. Thomas, my vote is that you be conditionally granted parole. And when I say that, I want to, because of your extensive record and because of everything that you've been a habitual, but it's been 20 years and you didn't hurt anybody when you were out.
I'd like to see you take victim awareness, particularly since you have some violent crimes in your history.
But I want a 6-month work release step down. Work release is not going to be like what you got right now. You'll have a lot more opportunities to mess up, a lot more temptations. Okay, so at the end of your 6 months, then you will be paroled if you successfully complete that. So you understand? So I'm going to give you most of what you want and a big old light at the end of the tunnel. So that's my vote. 6 months work release and then be granted parole, and you're not coming back to Caddo Parish. I like that. Thanks.
Thank
Mr. Tillis?
I concur with Mr. Prater.
Mr. Barrow?
I concur, but I have a couple special conditions myself. Number one, that you stay with the parole project for a minimum of 2 years and you follow all their recommendations and their reentry plans. That you complete 2 AA meetings per week. That you be on a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. for the first 6 months of your release. And that you complete 8 hours of community service work per month. All things that you had already agreed to. I'm just putting them in writing. So good
Okay.
luck to you.
All right, well,
Don't come back.
congratulations. Don't want to see you again unless I see you on in East Baton Rouge Parish. That'd be
Yes, sir.
52.
Okay, and they granted on conditional he's going to work release. I actually really like the process of everything. I gotta tell you, if I would have first gone back, I think I would have agreed, before I watched all these parole hearings with Miss Wise on the initial hearing when she's like, oh, give him the steep oil and let him out. He'd been locked up for 17 years. Give the guy a chance, give him a break. But the denials by Mr. O'Shea and Ms. Renatza, I think, was the wisdom there, because they set, he needs vocational training. They wanted him to succeed, right? It was about him being successful. And then he comes here with the Parole Project and the Innocence Project, which he's not claiming innocence. I think the Innocence Project also has another wing where they help inmates like the Parole Project does. There's money in it too. I don't know if they make, how that works, but okay. I'm not insinuating. And I think this might be one of the few times that I really like what the Parole Project was doing here. This is what the Parole Project is for. But so often we see the Parole Project sitting there accepting the worst of the worst when there are victims on the other end pleading, don't let me out. And then you have Kerry Myers come on and say, well, if you let him out, he'll be a client for life. It's like, do you not hear that he killed like 3 babies? Like, why is that okay? But it's this was good. This was good. I'm rooting for him, right? So he's gonna have 6 months of work release, and he's gonna be at the Parole Project. Did he say you need to be there for 2 years? Which again, that would be great for the Parole Project from a monetary perspective. That's like booking a hotel room for 2 straight years. That's good money. But I'm happy for him. I'm rooting for him. I am. I hope we don't see him again. You know how many times we've had to see hearings like this, and then I say, and guess who's back? I hope that's not the case here. He's been locked up a long time. Let's go to do some unpacking. We'll wrap this up. So Lady Holly's document, it shows, right, the life sentence of burglary inhabited dwelling, which I guess is Louisiana's legislation for home invasion. I'm not 100% sure though. 4th felony offender, life imprisonment or hard labor without benefit of parole. And this is what he stole. And we'll go through the quick appeal, but a ring, necklace, 2 watches, gold coin collection, some silver dollars, and also the hat. Let's not forget he stole the hat. And let's go to Lady Holly's fun fact of the day. In Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, they also care about what their food eats. Garbage and other food fed to hogs must be cooked on the premises beforehand. Isn't that interesting? I really wonder when that law was written, come on, you have to cook garbage being fed to hogs? That makes no sense. That doesn't even make sense. There cannot be any science that says that makes it better to eat a pig if the food's cooked, right? Tell me. But there's something amazing about the laws written because of how each state has their own laws and legislation and the rich history. I'm sure there are books on this, the crazy laws that states have and whatnot. It is fascinating. At least I find it fascinating. So we'll just a quick appeal. Here's the facts of his appeal, where he got a life sentence. On the morning of April 15, 2002, Hugo and Angela and a friend, Jimmy, returned to their home. When Hugo entered the house, he noticed a glare coming from a back bedroom. He hollered to his wife, who had remained outside, that someone was in the house. Oh, so maybe that's it. See, it wasn't a home invasion. It was a burglary of an inhabited. Okay. So he thought it was an empty house. Now, Hugo then encountered an intruder coming out the back bedroom wearing Hugo's hat. Never wear another man's hat. Hugo attempted to grab the intruder. However, he was unable to hold him due to an injured left hand. During this time, Angela was standing behind her husband and was able to observe the intruder. When Hugo Moore tried to corner the intruder, he claimed to be on narcotics and dangerous. Oh, on that note, I think what Ms. Renatza was alluding to was that the crime in itself is violent. right, of breaking into house, and the sheriff was saying you hadn't hurt anyone. So I think that could have been the discrepancy. Um, he didn't physically hurt him. He didn't bring a gun to this. It didn't escalate past really him running away. The victims decided to so he claimed to be on narcotics and dangerous, but he didn't hurt them. Concerned for their safety, the victims decided to let the intruder go. He ran out and around the house, over a fence, and disappeared. And let's be real, how many cases have we seen where someone like this will go and kill everyone in the house? If they were carrying a gun, right? Upon searching the house, the Bellamy's determined that the intruder had stolen several rings, a necklace, 2 watches, a gold coin collection, and some silver dollars. And again, don't forget the hat. So, and then it goes through the appeal. We're not going to do it. It's not so. But there you have it. I hope he does well. I think this is an interesting case of rehabilitation. When you look at it like on paper, 20 years, no violent offenses, and God, that is hard to understand. It really is. It's still such a long time. We see these other states where people get 5 years for killing people. I'm not exaggerating. Utah and Iowa, we see it all the time. We see in Connecticut people getting 3 years for attempted homicide where they actually shoot people, but the person lives. But in this case, maybe it worked out. I'm glad he has the support he needs. I'm glad he has a parole project, an innocent project. This could be a good story. And hopefully we don't hear from him again. Thank you, Lady Holly and Sir Richard, for using the spreadsheets to make connecting these hearings possible. Check out the Return to playlist to see more. And with that, I'll let you go.
You hadn't convinced me this morning. You have an extensive criminal history. The DA, the judge, saw fit to bring you as an habitual offender because you are a terror to society. You have been convicted of 7 or 8 felonies. You've been on supervision 9 times and revoked 7 times. I know you've been better. I want to see a longer period of time. You've only been incarcerated 17 years on a life sentence. I want you to take additional programs. I want you to participate in organizations, do some community service. And if I see a year or 2 of excellent performance as an offender, I might be willing to grant you, based on your extensive criminal history, a terrible supervision history, and express opposition by vote is to deny your request.